Disney villains are often the most compelling part of any Disney movie, some even having more fans than the protagonist of the same story. They can be charismatic, suave, comedic, and have the best songs of the movie, but at the end of the day, they are still evil. And today I will be talking about my top 10 Disney villains. 10. The Headless Horseman. Although his appearance in the movie The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad is incredibly short, the Headless Horseman is still thought to be one of the scarier Disney villains. He is brilliantly voiced and animated, but the real scary part is that he, unlike many other villains, actually succeeds. 9. Bill Sikes. Oliver and Company may have had adorable animals, but Disney definitely didn't try to make the villain more child-friendly or likable at all. It is blatantly obvious he is a sadistic murderer who will torture and kill anyone who owes him money. What makes his character so eerie is people like him are not a work of fiction. 8. Ratigan. Here's one of the more despicable and lesser known on our list, Ratigan. Voiced by the late great Vincent Price, he is the main antagonist of the Great Mouse Detective, whose goal is to overthrow the Queen and become ruler of all mousedom. On top of all that, his track record includes kidnapping, drowning widows and orphans, and feeding his own henchmen to his cat, Felicia. 7. The Coachman. Pinocchio had the most terrifying and successful criminal to ever appear, and it was only the second animated Disney movie ever made. The Coachman is the ringleader behind the child trafficking that takes place on Pleasure Island. He is never caught. Pleasure Island is so established it is clear it has been going on for several years, and only Pinocchio out of hundreds of kids manages to escape. 6. Madame Medusa. This scary-looking woman is the main villain of The Rescuers. Accompanied by the cowardly Mr. Snoops and 2 pet crocodiles, they kidnap an orphan, thinking there would be nobody searching for her, and force her to go down into a dark watery hole in search of a priceless diamond. She's a bit of a strange villain, but entertaining nonetheless. 5. The Horned King. He's probably the scariest looking on this list. The Black Cauldron is already a dark set movie, but the Horned King offers no explanation. There is zero backstory, and he's abusive to his most devoted henchmen. He simply wants to raise an army of the dead to spread death and decay, and will stop at nothing to get what he wants and will eliminate anyone in his way. 4. Mother Gothel. Tangled gave us one of the most intelligent villains of all time. She's terrible, and the way she treats Rapunzel boils my blood. Once Rapunzel leaves the tower, we see more of her true nature. She manipulates things into turning out in her favor, even if she needs to eliminate certain obstacles after they have served their purpose. Also, she can use Rapunzel's hair to stay young. 3. Claude Frollo. Before Gothel, we had another master manipulator, Judge Claude Frollo. This intolerant man stopped at nothing to get rid of the gypsies and got saddled with a baby as a result. He taught Quasimodo the world was a cruel, dark place and that gypsies were evil, all while sending his men to round them up and torture them. Esmeralda piques his interest and he nearly burns down all of Paris trying to apprehend her. I don't blame her for choosing the fire over him. 2. Cruella de Vil. I think what scares me the most about this villain is that if she had been successful, her punishment would have been minimal, as animal rights in the 60s were even worse than they are now. Although she did steal 15 puppies, nobody ever seems to consider she obtained 84 legally, that Anita and Roger just decided to keep. And they also made a mint from the song Roger wrote about Cruella. Cruella de Vil actually ended up paying off for the Radcliffes, landing them with 101 Dalmatians and the means to take care of them. 1. Madam Mim. This sadistic woman thinks someone being sick is lovely and even hopes for it to be serious, something dreadful. The Sword in the Stone gave us the most overconfident villain of all time, Mim. She is absolutely fearless and as a result is invulnerable to intimidation. Mim is a master of the dark arts, and her powers rival those of Merlin himself, but it is her own conceited nature that gets in the way of her truly winning the wizard's duel. And that's the end of that chapter. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and TTFN, guys!